Dear students, this is Dr. Nataraju, Chairman and Assistant Professor, Department of English, Karnataka State Open University, Gangotri, Mysuru. In this session, I am going to teach you a very outstanding poem, a classic poem written by John Keats. John Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn is prescribed for both undergraduate level and the postgraduate level students in the Department of English. Here, John Keats is considered to be one of the great romantic poets of the early 19th century in English literature. Keats belongs to the second generation of romantic poets like Shelley and Lord Byron. As a poet, John Keats excelled among his contemporaries in his artistic portrayal and brilliant visual images. The present poem, Ode on a Grecian Urn, is considered as a classic poem of the 19th century English literature. Keats saw this beautiful urn, a Grecian urn, in the British Museum. He is inspired by the pictures engraved on it and wrote this poem in 1819. So we understand here that the John Keats inspired by the beauty of the Grecian urn when he saw in the museum, in British Museum. Here, Keats unveils the permanence of art and the transience of human life in this poem. There is a dichotomy. There is a juxtaposition between the transience of human life and the permanence of art, which reverberates in the entire poem. That is a sweet kernel that we could see in the poem after we have read.
Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, sylvan historian who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. What leaf-fringed legend haunts about thy shape of deities or mortals, or of both, in Tempe or the dales of Arcady? What men or gods are these? What maidens loath? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes, play on, not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, though winning near the goal yet. Do not grieve, she cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss. Forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young. All breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk this pious morn? And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can e'er return. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity. Cold pastoral, when old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain, in midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty, that is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know.
So after reading the poem, we identify that how the poem celebrates the manifestation of the artistic achievement. Every poet, every novelist, every dramatist, and every writer has, they have the kind of artistic achievement. So here we understand that the John Keats, he's reached the zenith of his artistic achievement. Here there are very significant lines in the poem which manifest the invincible beauty of the urn. So taking up the very important quotations, important lines from the text, we'll try to navigate, we'll understand how John Keats manifests the invincible beauty of the urn, the immaculate beauty that we could see in the entire poem. The poem begins like this: though still unravish'd, the bride of quietness, though fast a child of silence and slow time, Sylvan historian who can't thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than a rhyme. Here the speaker addresses the urn as though still unravished bride of quietness. So here the urn is not ravished by the ravages of time. It still preserves the quietness and silence of art. So time is preserving the beauty of the urn. So the time is a preserver here. The word quietness and silence suggest that the time, the great destroyer, is passive and it fosters the beauty of the urn. The time, it fosters the beauty of the urn. The virgin beauty of the urn is suggested by the phrase unravished bride of quietness, which means the urn still, it fosters, it still has this, the beauty which is everlasting. It is unravished, will never lose its beauty. If you look at another important line in the entire poem, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, his soft pipes play on, not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, the pipe to the spiritualities of no town. And this happens to be a very important, significant lines in the poem. For instance, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. So here, John Keats is celebrating the power of music. He describes the melody of the piper and its everlasting power of the music. The poet expresses that the music to the sensual ear may fade, but music played to the spirit deities of no town remains permanent. Because Keats believes in the doctrine, in the dictum, in the philosophy that whatever the imagination seizes as beauty must be truth. Apparently, nobody can deny the divine power of music. Further, the fair youths beneath the trees, thou canst not live, thy song nor ever can those trees bear. Bold lover, never, never can't thou kiss. Here, fair youth cannot have his union with a fair maiden. They cannot kiss each other because it is in the beauty of the urn, because there is a picture which is engraved on the urn. And the trees will never be bare. Here, the true love will never turn into lust. In contrast, love in human life may get destroyed as love turns into lust. Then, the speaker, he talks about the images of trees on the urn, calling the boughs happy because they will never shed the leaves and they will never say goodbye to spring. Here is the lines. Oh, happy, happy boughs that can't shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist unwearied, forever piping songs forever new, more happy love, more happy, happy love. Forever new, the word indicate the supreme beauty of life in art. Forever new is a phrase that can be applied to the old poem. The urn and the depiction on it will remain forever young. Another important significant phrase, the quotations, who are these coming to sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leads thou that Eiffel lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dress, is emptied of this folk, this pious morn, and little town thy streets for evermore? Will silent be and not a soul to tell? Why thou art desolate can ever return? Here the speaker vividly describes a pious morning scene. He calls a mysterious priest because his motive is not clear. He is leading a young Eiffel decorated with garlands. A group of people are marching towards a green altar, perhaps to witness a sacrifice. The Eiffel, the poet fancies that a little town perhaps located by a river or seashore must have emptied of its rural folk. For a contrast, the poet thinks of a scene of desolate and silent streets. This is to suggest, in other words, that the art is inclusive since it presents both the joys and sorrows of the world. The Eiffel which is there in this urn, which is luckier because it will not be sacrificed. So the beauty of the urn celebrates the life. That is a very, very important and a very interesting, the component sentences that we come across in this entire poem. In the fag end of the poem, the poet asserts that generations after generation passes, but the eternal quality of the urn remains forever. Here is a line: the silent form does tease us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. In this last stanza, we understand that the John Keats called this urn as a cold pastoral. There is a lot to understand the meaning, hidden meaning in it. Why does he use the word as cold pastoral to urn? The speaker turns his attention to the urn. The urn is a cold pastoral, and it will remain forever. It is called pastoral, a silent form and still and ravish bride of quietness. And it is transformed into a rich poetic metaphor. Speaker is expressing a remarkable insight into the very nature of life itself. The cold represent the death, the pastoral represent the kind of the village folk scene, and it contains a life. So still the urn celebrates the life in the entire poem. It still preserves its beauty, life, and so on. Here is an important line that when old age shall this generation waste, those shall remain in midst of other woe. Than ours a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all. He know on earth and all he need to know. Here the poem evinces the permanence of art and transience of human life through the vivid pictures depicted on the urn. The entire poem, Ode on a Grecian Urn, has a major preoccupation between the ideal and actual experiences. So, Ode on a Grecian Urn is a poetic symbol of recognizing beauty and truth. And dear students, the entire poem, the Ode on a Grecian Urn, it is a very true manifestations of what poem captures the true life and beauty and so on. So this is how John Keats he celebrates the beauty of the urn and the beauty of the art, the permanence of the art in this entire poem. I hope you understood the poem very well, and I wish you good luck.